Welcome to the straight up, no bullshit, the Don Handston Show. Our hosts are going to push the limits, but create an environment where it's safe to uncover the crap that holds you back so you can survive the mediocrity of today's life. And they'll be admitting and revealing their own experiences so you can learn the skills and attitude you need to be who you are. No bullshit. Warning to all listeners: if you have thin skin and get offended easily by harsh, direct, or somewhat offensive content and language, then this podcast may be overwhelming. However, we believe pulling your blinders off and viewing things from a real perspective may feel invigorating and may be the very thing that may cause you to expand your capabilities exponentially. Now here's your hosts, Don and Markus.
Welcome to our inaugural podcast, Straight Up No Bullshit, the Don Handston Show. We're glad you're here. Don, glad you're here. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, this inaugural podcast is for your enjoyment, okay? We're trying to raise awareness with this and kind of open up doors so people can kind of think a little bit differently than how they've been thinking.
Yep, get them thinking outside the pack, go where no man has gone before. And I really think that this, the reason we're doing this is, we want to help you make better decisions in life, be happier, be healthier, be more successful, survive and navigate all the roadblocks that life throws in your way. A lot of the bullshit that we're getting bogged down in, especially in these crazy times we're living in. That's the reason why we're doing this podcast.
Right. People are following all this information that's out there that's kind of bringing them down and lessening the happiness and their health and a lot of problems. And we want people to raise above that. We want people to really thrive in life and be happy. So we want to give alternative ideas. Not that you don't have to agree with us on everything. The thing is we want to open up doors on how you're thinking about things so you can make better decisions, so you can live better, and you can live better than the mediocrity that life has to offer us, especially through all this nonsense that we're kind of dealing with in these days.
Absolutely. It's really all about writing the script to the life that you desire. We're all creators and we're all have the ability to go out there and make the life that we choose to live. We don't have to live by the rules that everybody has out there, and I think that, if we can share some ideas and have some good dialogue and conversation and get people thinking about looking at different perspectives of things, I think people can expand their capabilities exponentially and truly be happier in, when the rest of the world is going nuts.
Absolutely, Markus. And so I think what people have to understand is there's something that's been written on how we're supposed to live. Okay. But us as individuals, we all have our own pen and our own paper, and it's up to us to write the script for our lives, what it takes, what we need to be happy, to be healthy, to have good friends, to have people that we can trust, to figure out how to gather information so we can be informed and to trust in certain people's, ideas. And you don't have to agree. Everybody doesn't have to agree with everybody else. And that's the key, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to say that's going to be alternative to the thinking that's out there. And the key to this is you don't have to agree with us. It's just to open up your mind that there's alternative ways of thinking about things rather than following what's out there and taking you down the trail to doom, right? Basically.
Exactly. Pull the blinders off, see life how it truly is. And like they say, don't be like the rest, be like the best. So let's get the show started.
That sounds great.
Good morning, John. How's it going?
Hey, good, Markus. Welcome, listeners. What Markus just said is basically the truth. We're here not for us. We're here for you. We want to help people. That's the reason for this podcast. We have a lot to share with folks, and we want to open up minds, and we want to help people really start living life how it's supposed to be lived.
Absolutely. I think in reality, our society has changed to such a degree that it makes being happy and joyful difficult, because there's so much adversity and so much, people butting heads and us versus them and left versus right and up versus down. And it's become ridiculous. So life doesn't have to be that hard. It needs to be fun and easy. And we want everyone to come take that ride with us.
That's why we're here. We're here in this life to have fun, have a good time, have a smile on your face, be happy, and just enjoy this life. We're not here that long. Let's enjoy it. Let's not take it shit so serious and open up capabilities. We want to help people understand that they're capable of far more than what they're doing right now. And I think the moral to the story is we all need to write the script, and we need to follow the script for our lives. We need to get out our pen and paper. We need to write down exactly what it is that we want in life, okay? What we want to do, what we want to have, where we want to go, who we want to deal with. And we write it down and we follow our plan. Of course, you can adjust your plan, but we got to quit going by the plan that everybody else has put together for us, because you know where that's taking us, right? Places we don't want to be, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. There's just so much, I guess I've always been a rebel with a cause. I've always questioned authority, questioned the way things are done. And, I go, beat to my own drum, so to speak. And I think everyone needs to have permission to beat to their own drum. And I think that's what this part of this podcast is all about, is letting people know that, hey, you don't have to conform to all the norms that everyone puts out there. I mean, they're just basically rules that people decided that's what they're going to make up, and they want everyone else to be controlled. So, enough of that bullshit. And we want to be straight with you. We don't have all the answers, but we're constantly striving for those answers, constantly looking to put all of that into motion in our lives. And we just want to share that with you today. So we appreciate you being here. And, we want to hopefully help everyone who chooses to pull off the blinders and see things as they truly are, not the way the rest of the world wants us to think and see it that way. So,
yeah. And we got to quit settling, right? Don't settle for less than what you deserve, and believe that you deserve more than what you currently have in life now. If you believe that you deserve it and you quit settling, you're going to get what you want in life. Okay. And
absolutely.
A lot of people don't. They're like, well, this is what life's given me, and this is what, it's okay. And it's okay with me. Then that's all you get, right? You got to ask for more. And it's whether it's asking yourself, it doesn't matter what it is, but you cannot settle. It's the minute you settle, the minute you just said, you know what, this is what you said I deserve in life, and this is probably all I deserve, then all you're going to have is mediocrity in your life. If that's what you want and that's what you're cool with, that's great. But I don't think that's what people want. I think they want much, much, much more than what they currently have in their life now. And I think that everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be healthy. People want to have good friends, people that they can count on. They want to do things for a living that they enjoy doing. They want to be around people they want to be around. Quit settling. If it's somebody you don't want in your life, get rid of them. Okay. You don't want to work for somebody. If it's a job you don't want to do, get rid of it. Quit settling. We all settle. And then we wonder why do we have these problems? Why are we stressed out? Okay. Why are we unhealthy? Right. Why is our mental state all fucked up? Right.
Yeah.
It's what you've put together and you're settling. Don't settle. Constantly be striving for something better, right? Better people to be around, better jobs, more time for yourself, right? More time to spend with other people that you enjoy being around. I mean, because a bunch of people are going out and you've been friends with somebody for a long, long, long time, and all they do is bring, negative energy to your party. Just because you've been involved with these people for a long time, people are like, oh, I need to sustain this relationship. I've known this guy for 25 years. Well, for 25 years, this guy has created, or girl has created nothing but problems and negative energy, which brings your energy down. Really, do you need to continue keeping this relationship alive? And people think that they need to.
Well, society is drilled us down to not take risks, that you play it safe. Life, it is life. You got a deck of cards you've been dealt with, and that's it. And we're not given the tools and the thought processes to be able to change that. I was in a 20-year marriage, that wasn't going well. I could have stuck it out, whatever, and I had a very frank conversation with my sister who said, hey, how long are you going to put up with this stuff? How long are you going to hold out? And at that time, I'm like, well, maybe till my daughter graduates college, or graduates high school, and then all bets are off. But you know what? I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. It's time to move on.
It's one time around the block, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you can waste as much time as you want putting off decisions that you should make today, right?
Right.
You can do that. And who knows? Who knows if there is even a tomorrow? So what's the point? Change what you need to change. Do what you need to do. Start enjoying your life. Be around people that you want to be around. Get rid of the toxicity, right? Improve yourself and just fly high. And I got a perfect scenario from what you just had mentioned with the relationship. When we're involved, okay, and the big part of this podcast is about helping people be aware, right? People being here in the moment when they're visiting, talking, doing whatever. They need to be aware. But the thing is sometimes when you're involved in a situation, I use like that. You remember those globes where you shook it and the snow would kind of fall?
Snow globe. Yeah, snow globe.
And you're inside there and all you know is it's snowing. But the person outside that snow globe looks in and sees exactly what's going on inside that snow globe. You're just like, oh, I'm inside it.
Right.
And so sometimes you don't even see some of the problems that you have because you're so immersed in these problems or these relationships or whatever it is that you don't even really know what's right and what's wrong and what's good and what's bad. And sometimes it takes for somebody from the outside to look in and say, why would you put up with this shit? What are you doing? And sometimes that doesn't even make people aware. They're like, oh, this person doesn't like my partner or my job or whatever. But a lot of times the perspective from the outside is the perspective that you need to have. So what we need to figure out how to do is step outside of our snow globe and understand what the hell's going on inside there so you can resolve your problems and start living good again rather than, this is settling and going, this is how it's supposed to be. And, it's okay. And again, it goes back to settling, you don't have to settle. Say, I want something better than this.
Right. And, what I think it comes down to is fear. So many people get frozen in fear. And if people there was a book I read years and years ago called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And it was very eye-opening. I mean, I even, did the whole Tony Robbins walk on hot coals because the whole idea is fear into power. If you can overcome your fear of walking on 2,000-degree hot coals, what can't you get yourself to do? And, if we can just start to put the fear, I'm not saying it's easy. You're going to turn it off right away. Maybe you can, but put it off to the side for a second and ask yourself, what is it? How could my life be if this thing over here is not holding me back?
Right. I mean, that could have to do with risk reward. That could have to do with some of the simple statements that they say, like there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Right.
And the people that fear everything, they never get out in the world and do things like beyond their limitation because this is all I'm capable of.
Right.
But the people that have no fear, how about the guy that takes a jump on a motorcycle and he's 200 feet in the air and he lets go of the motorcycle and dances around and grabs the motorcycle and lands it? Like, how is that even possible? Well, it's possible because he believes it's possible. He knows it's possible.
Right.
You put me or you or some other idiot on that motorcycle. Number one, I'm probably not even going on that jump, or I'll go too fast or too slow, or I'll disconnect or I'll reconnect and I'll crash the bike. It's probably not going to work because I'd be too afraid. Like, it's the same thing. How is he able to do it and we're not? Because he believes that he's able to and he doesn't have the fear. That's how. But physically, you look at it, you're like, how do you let go and reconnect? How do you reconnect to that bike and then land after 300 feet of dropping? Like, what's going on here?
Well, I think part of it also is the fact that don't get me wrong, there's some good practice that goes involved in it too. However, if you haven't overcome that fear and you don't believe that you can, you're never going to practice it and get going on it in the first place. So let's not discount experience. However, the first step is you got to overcome the fear. You got to believe that you can do it.
Right. So what I had just mentioned is like an extreme case, right?
Absolutely.
But some of the most simple things in life, right? Oh, a guy, oh, I shouldn't talk to this girl. She's too beautiful, or I shouldn't talk to this woman because she's too old, or I'm not going to apply for that job because I would never get it, or I'm not going to build my own cryptocurrency because I'm not capable. Whatever it is, however small it is, however big it is, you have to say, the saying, either you can or you can't, and either way you're correct. So if you say you can't to all this stuff, your capabilities are minuscule. But it also goes along with failing, right? Every successful person on this earth has failed a million times over. So if you're going to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to try this, okay, whatever it may be, it could be something simple, use an expired coupon at the store, doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't work, okay, it didn't work, no harm, no foul. But if you never tried it, you don't know, hey, it just saved me $100 at the store, and it was an expired coupon that they redeemed, or they said it was okay. The bottom line is, doesn't matter how big, how small it is, if you never attempt it, if you're never afraid to fail, you're never going to succeed in anything you do in life.
It's like the old saying, if you don't ask, you don't get. It's just
you don't get what you don't ask for. That's so true.
It is.
Yeah.
It was funny you were talking about belief. I've been listening to this audiobook called The Spontaneous Healing of Belief by Greg Braden. And it's shattering the paradigm of false limits. And, most of the book.
Wait, Greg Brady, is that Brady Bunch?
No, Greg Braden, Braden, Bradeen.
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say, what does Peter have to say about that one?
Exactly. How about it?
Okay, go ahead. That's hard.
No, it's all good. This obviously, this book is really about healing and about health and longevity. But there's so many experiments that are out there that people don't even realize, where they've of how our thoughts and our beliefs do mold the world. And people don't realize that it does. They think it's the opposite around, that the world molds them. It doesn't have to be that way. And they've proven it over and over again. We're talking about someone that's got like literally a cancer in their bodies, and they've got these healers around them, and they literally have cameras there, and literally within less than 3 minutes, the cancer's gone. It like literally shrinks and poof, is gone. I mean, that's mind blowing. Some people would say, how is it even possible? It's possible through belief.
Most people would say that's not possible, because the problem and the problem, don't let me step on your words right now, I'll keep that thought, but the problem is that when you have an idea in your head, a thought, an idea that nobody else believes, right, nobody else knows, right, instead of saying, well, tell me how you could do that, how is that possible, they're going to say, that's not possible, you can't do that, it's impossible. Well, all they did was invalidate your thought. Right? When they invalidate your thought, you start thinking, well, maybe I'm not capable of doing that. Maybe it's impossible. It's probably impossible. Everybody in the room just said it's impossible. It must be impossible.
Right.
And then you dismiss the thought. And that's the problem, is you need to be around people that validate your ideas. And they don't have to say, hey, yeah, you said you're going to ride your bike to the moon today. Let's all go for a ride. They might say, well, you know what, Don? How do you plan on doing that? How are you going to accomplish this, right? And maybe you say, I don't really know. I haven't come up with a way or whatever. But like you said, it's all perception. It's all how you validate and invalidate, and what you believe and what you know and what you're capable of. Because the difference between like a stock boy at a grocery store and Elon Musk is the difference in perception. That's all. The stock boy at the local store doesn't believe that he can build spaceships and cars that run on, electricity and build social media platforms bigger than life. Like it's just the difference in perception. And go over there and try and invalidate a guy like Elon Musk. It doesn't even enter his psyche. He's like, he doesn't give a shit. He's like, you're a moron, He's probably thinking, you're a moron. Why would I even listen to you?
Absolutely. It is so much about, if you like you said, if you can't think you can, you think you can't, you're going to be right either way.
You're correct.
Exactly. And it's just, that's the whole premise. I mean, I know we've got a lot of great topics to talk about here in future episodes. Talk about your new best-selling book, which we'll talk about, 30-day contract, where we'll go into, which again shatters a whole other paradigm of relationships and what those look like and so forth. But really, it's getting clear about what is it that you truly want in life, and making them a priority. I personally believe that the universe has got my back, right? And as long as I'm doing, I'm clear in focus, I'm clear in belief of where I want to go, and I take those little baby steps towards whatever it is I'm going after. The universe is going to take the big steps, and it's going to make things synchronistically fall into place. Where if you don't believe it, it's never going to happen. If you don't take a little baby steps, little action, it's never going to happen.
Well, let me interrupt you on this. So, 1,000% correct. Now, the first thing is you have to think something, right? Think it. Okay, I think this. Okay,
right.
Maybe it's a 25% penetration. Then you're like, I believe this. Okay, maybe now you're at a 50% penetration. Then you say, I know this, right? I know I'm capable. I know I don't have to worry. I know I'm going to get what I deserve regardless. You're at 100% level because you know. And so what happens once you start knowing things, and this is what the outside world doesn't want us to know,
right,
is the things that we actually do know, because life is so much simpler than anyone believes. Is the minute you stop worrying, and the minute that you know that you're going to have what it is that you need, what you require, what makes you happy, what makes you healthy, the minute you know that is the minute that your perspective has superseded everything, and you will bring it in. Like if you say, hey, you know what? I don't have any money in my bank account yet. I got my bills are due next week, and it's $10,000, whatever it is.
Right.
And you start worrying about it. All you're doing is telling yourself, I don't know where it's going to come from. I'm not capable of it. Right. But if you're like, it's going to happen. Okay. Next thing you know, you get a deposit on a job, you get a bonus at a job, your car sold, you get some kind of rebate, some kind of shit. It happens.
It does happen.
And all that, the only difference was not only your perception, but your intention. Your intention was everything's going to happen. And like you said, the universe, right? The universe takes care of you. You can say it however you want, but when you believe it and you know it, it's going to happen. So when you start worrying, like, am I going to have food on my table? Am I going to have enough money? All you're doing is doubting your capabilities and doubting the universe. But the minute you say the universe has my back, just like you said, or however you want to put it, you all of a sudden you realize that everything is there that you need. Everything will be provided as long as you believe that you deserve it. And that's why it's really about doing the right thing, right? You do the right thing, you always feel as though you deserve what it is that you require and what you want, and what it opens up your deserving kind of mindset. But if you're out there and you're screwing people and you're taking advantage of people and you're self-serving and you only want to help yourself, okay, now it's a different story, because even though you think you got everything that you need, you don't feel as though you deserve. And when you don't feel as though you deserve, guess what? You don't get what you want and what you require and what you need. Okay. And it's kind of funny because it happens with money, all that greed. It's just self-serving stuff. So do they get a bunch of cars and houses and okay, great. Some of the most unhappy people I've ever met, they got all this shit. Okay, great. Wow. Whoa, you screwed a lot of people and you got a lot of money. Good for you. Health's not good. Happiness isn't good. They're never going to have what it is that they need.
Relationships might not be good.
Relationships, love. It doesn't matter what it is.
Friendships, family. Yeah, absolutely.
Because they don't feel as though the only thing they feel as though they deserve is more cars and more houses. Okay, great. Okay, you think you won the battle. Okay, great. Now when you die, we got to figure out how to get rid of all this shit, Like, you didn't go anywhere. You didn't go anywhere. All you did was acquire a bunch of shit. But that's what people think is like the winning. I won because I got, $500,000 cars and $1 billion houses. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't care. Right. I want to live. I want to travel. I want to get my needs, met. And my biggest need now, and it has a lot to do with this podcast, is trying to help other people. Okay.
Right.
What's going on in my head is way beyond anything that I can really vocalize. But I will tell you this, the stuff that goes on in here can actually help people open up their minds. And that's really the important part of this podcast, is if I can open up people's minds and they can start taking a little, you don't have to agree with everything that I say, but little pieces, little nuggets, and put it in a perspective in their own lives and make their lives even this much better. Yep. Then this podcast is worth it for me. For me, that's what I need. I need to be able to help other people. This is not about helping me.
But the biggest great thing is you help 1,000 people. Guess what? You're helping yourself in between, because
1,000,000 times over.
Because osmosis, it just happens that way. So, going back to what you were saying before, being certain about stuff, that's knowing, Tony Robbins calls that certainty, having absolute certainty that boom, this is going to happen. I mean, if you think about it, go back to that movie. What was it? It was Back to the Future 2, where he goes back in time and he gets Biff's, it gets like this sports book, like, the almanac of all the sports things. And he's like, he's got all the dates of who wins and who loses and what's the spread and all of it. If you had that knowledge, you would be absolutely certain that, hey, I'm going to go in and buy, 10 Bitcoins today, because I know they're going to, they're going to be 3x or whatever it is, but people don't, they doubt it. They look at it, they hear this, they hear that, they listen to this person, there's that person, and they start worrying about it. And you have to have a theme. You have to have a thesis of what your life is all about and have absolute certainty about it and can move forward. Now, does that mean that their thesis is going to be valid 100% and it's going to be 100%? No, nothing's 100%. However, the law of averages is going to put that into perspective, and you're going to have much greater capability because of the fact that you're absolutely certain and it's moving forward. In other words, the odds are going to be more for you than against you.
Well, I talk about relationships, right? And you could quantify a relationship as simple as this, okay? People don't know, is this a good relationship, bad relationship, whether it's a friendship, girlfriend, doesn't matter. Is when you go in, when you get involved, let's say you're going to be involved with somebody for a cup of coffee, right?
Right.
Is your life better? Do you feel better when you left than when you came? Or did you go in feeling good and you left feeling bad? Right. Really, it's all about environment, right? When you're in a better environment, people that you want to be around, they're going to bring you up. So if you went in a great mood, you're going to come out in an awesome mood. But if you go in with some schlub and you go in with a great mood, you're going to come and you're going to be in a bad mood or feel like they suck the energy out of you. And so that's part of the environment thing that we need to regulate. Our environments need to be always in a positive fashion and things that help you be better. But go ahead. I lost my train of thought. Right.
No, it happens. No, I think what you're saying though is the fact that if you're around people that suck your energy, it can bring you down. However, if you are so positive and so confident, you walk in the room and you just light that room up, just your presence lifts everyone else up.
You can't care about what anybody thinks of you, because the problem is when you're that upbeat, right? There's going to be people that say, "Oh, he's insensitive," or "Oh, he offended me," or "Oh, I don't like him. He's outspoken."
Right. We call them haters.
He's cocky.
They're haters.
Or whatever.
It
doesn't every person in there. I was talking to Dr. Steve about this yesterday, and we were talking about perception, and he said, you could do something and somebody could say, "You know what? Greatest guy in the world. He helped me out." And then you could have somebody else in the room that says, "You know what? That guy's an asshole. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and he put me in the wrong direction." And you can have everybody's got a different perspective. So why do you even give a shit what they think? You like me, you love me. I don't care. I'm going to say what I need to say. And if I offended you, oh, well, if I'm in a hockey locker room, I hope I offend you, because that's my job. That's why we play hockey. But at the end of the day, people need to be real. We need to be who we are, not who we think everybody else wants us to be. If we are who we are, this world is a great place because nobody's blowing smoke up my ass, your ass, or anybody else's ass. They're telling you like it is, what their parameters are, what they want, and they're creating their own happiness. And the people that are like-minded are going to be attracted to that person. And the people are like, oh, he offended me. Go over and talk to somebody that can blow some smoke up your ass and feel better about yourself.
Exactly.
Until the smoke dissipates and you didn't get what you wanted. Okay. I'd rather somebody tell me, hey, you know what? Your hair looks terrible. I'll be like, yeah, I'm in agreement and thank you. I'll try and get a different cut. I'm going to take the good with the bad. But the bottom line is I'd rather you tell me the truth. Like, hey, dude, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. And then I look around, you know what? It is ridiculous. Or you know what? I like it ridiculous. Or you want to be around people that tell it like it is. At least I do.
Authentic.
I don't, and the more you're like that, the more you're going to attract those types of people.
Right.
And your life gets better. You know what I mean? If you're walking around and you're all wishy-washy and you don't really know what you want and you try and please everybody, you're going to be the person that this person wants you to be and that person wants you to be, you're going to be so fucking unhappy that your health, your happiness, everything's going right down to shitter. Okay. Yep. So just be your authentic self. Just be you.
Authentic self. You know, I just did a masterclass with some folks in a company. They're in a nutritional company, and we were talking about LinkedIn, but really it was about creating being authentic. If you can be your real self, your warts and all, people trust that. People will gravitate towards that because you're being real, you're being truthful, you're being honest. Because what you see is what you get. I've always been that way. People think I'm nuts. Half my friends think I'm nuts.
Everybody thinks I'm nuts.
I'm good. I'm good with that. Exactly. You know,
if everybody else is normal, I want to be nuts because they're out of their minds. I'll tell you.
I am who I am. You love me or hate me. This is what you got. What you see is what you get. So but this has been a great conversation. You know, I know we got a lot of great topics coming up here on our podcast, and this has been a great, I think, introduction to let people know kind of where we're coming from, what we're looking to accomplish. You know, how we want to impact the world. You know, and all those great things. So I appreciate our conversation here today.
Yeah. The only thing I'd like to add before you know we end our podcast today is information. Okay, real quick, information and data. Okay,
right.
The first thing is you have to figure out what you believe to be trusted data and who you believe to be people that you trust. Okay, and you take that information. Okay. The biggest thing is you take that information and you kind of wish-wash it around in your head to make sure that it's logical and makes sense for you.
Right.
Secondly, you implement that information. Okay. Maybe if it's doctor stuff, you talk to, holistic doctors, different people, you do your own research. Maybe you try it on yourself, maybe supplements, whatever it is, ways of thinking, doesn't matter. And then what happens is if you gain success from that information, then it's valid information. Okay. It could have to do with investment, health, anything. But the thing is the first thing is you have to figure out where you're going to get that data. Second thing is, instead of just taking somebody's word for it, even if it's somebody that's trusted, you have to implement it in your own life and figure out, hey, you know what? I bought this and it wasn't worth the shit, or I bought this and this guy was absolutely right. And that's the only way that we can quantify information right now. And the problem right now is there's so much disinformation and there's so much claims of actual information that is helpful for people,
right,
for success, that is deemed as disinformation. Right. So I'm like a contrarian, right? I'm not going to read a newspaper, but if I read a newspaper, or if I watch the news, which I don't do either one, okay, I'm going to take what they said, assume the opposite, and I'm probably closer to the truth. So it doesn't really matter what they say. Sometimes it's good to know what other people think is real, okay?
Right.
Yeah, because then you realize the insanity that's going on out there. But exactly. Then you need to quantify, you need to talk to people, and you need to figure out, is this really information that is helpful for my survival and my success in life? Yeah. So I think it's a really good point to bring up, because I don't think people really know where to get their information from right now. And I've made my sphere of influence smaller and smaller and smaller because I really need to trust the people that are inside my life. And I think our listeners should really do the same as well.
Absolutely, I agree. And hopefully that this will prove ourselves to be a trustworthy source for that information, or at least give them ideas, things to ponder, so they can use their own critical thinking to decide this. Hey, this makes sense. Is Don right, or is Markus right, or are these full of shit? And they can come to their own conclusion. But that's why this podcast is called Straight Up No Bullshit. We're not going to bullshit you. We're going to tell you how it is, straight up. This is how we see it, how we're living it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, there's the door.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah. You don't like us. That's cool. You love us. That's great too. Bottom line is, everything's not a fit for everyone. Okay. Right. And we want to be we're going to be a fit for the right people.
Exactly.
And the people that we're not a fit for, that's fine. That's completely fine. We're not offended.
Yep.
And everybody's got to figure out their own way. But our goal is to make you happy, is to help you find what it is that you want in life and help you get what it is that you need in life. And so if we can do that to some people, it's going to be such a win-win for everyone.
It is absolutely going to win. That's what's going to, I think, turn things around for us. People waking up and smelling the coffee and saying, you know what, I'm going to live life on my terms, not what everyone else says should be my terms. Don't shit all over yourself, because when you shit all over yourself, you're literally shitting on yourself. So,
write your own rule book, right?
Write your own rule book. Exactly.
Don't break your rules. If you break your rules, then change your rule book. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, hey, I don't want to break the rule of us going too long over time. So let's wrap it up. Don, thanks so much. It's been a great conversation. Thank all the listeners. Thank you all for tuning in. We hope you've gotten some value out of this. If nothing, a smile and a chuckle, and we made you laugh a little bit, and more to come. So thanks so much for being here. And again, live your life with straight up no bullshit.
Have a great day, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you for tuning in to the Straight Up No Bullshit, the Don Handston Show. We hope we enlightened you and expanded your perspectives with our bold and honest discussions about what might be holding you back from being your genuine self. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to the next episode. If you want to know more, go to straightupnobullshit.com. We'll see you next time.